Hi, everybody. Let's take a moment and correct the questions from the other day about the picture of Dorian Gray. So, taking a look at the overview, first I want to examine the three characters in the novel. We have Dorian Gray. Now, Dorian is a very young and beautiful man. Basil is an artist, Basil Hallward, and he paints a portrait of Dorian. Basil loves beauty, and he finds beauty magical because beauty is fragile and beauty will not last forever. Then we have Lord Henry Wotton. Now, he is an older man and he is friends with Basil and later becomes very close friends with Dorian Gray. So, what does Hallward do when he finishes painting? When Basil finished the painting, he wrote his name at the bottom of the canvas. Well, that's not so significant. All artists sign their work, but that shows that it's authentic, and artists only sign their painting when they are satisfied with the work. Okay, please notice Basil did not cry when he finished the painting. Many people wrote that in the homework. I think it says in the text, "It is quite finished," he cried. That does not mean, "Oh, I'm sad, boo-hoo." It means "ha declamato," okay? "Ha gridato," if you want. What does Lord Henry say about the portrait? Well, Lord Henry is very impressed by the beautiful painting, and he says that the painting is the finest portrait of modern times. Now, when Dorian first sees the portrait, it gives him great joy at first. He finds the portrait beautiful, and that makes him realize that he is beautiful. It hadn't really occurred to him before that, okay? Now everyone is saying the portrait is beautiful, it's exactly like you, so he gets it now. He's beautiful. Why does his mood change? Well, Dorian becomes upset when he realizes that the beautiful painting will always be beautiful, but he himself is going to get older. And when you get older, you lose your beauty. Now, how does Hallward react to Dorian's silence? Well, when Dorian is silent and is just looking at the portrait, Basil thinks he doesn't like it. Now, what about Lord Henry? What does he want to do with the portrait? Lord Henry wants to buy it. Now, there is a little bit of a homoerotic undercurrent to this novel. Okay, the stereotypical relationship of a beautiful young man and an older man. Okay, and that's much like Oscar Wilde's relationships with young men. The older man generally represents experience, and the young man represents youth and beauty, innocence, and vitality. So Lord Henry thinks that Dorian is beautiful, so he wants to have a portrait of this beautiful man. Now, at the end of the extract, what wish does Dorian express? Well, Dorian says that he would sell his soul, venderebbe l'anima, to always be as young and beautiful as he is in the picture. "How sad it is," murmured Dorian Gray, with his eyes still fixed upon his own portrait. "How sad it is. I shall grow old and horrible and dreadful, and the portrait will never be older than this particular day of June. If only it were the other way around. If only I could stay forever young and the picture could grow old. For that I would give everything. There is nothing in the whole world I would not give. I would give my soul for that." Well, in your text, it says that Dorian Gray expresses a Faustian wish. Faustian is the adjective. It comes from the German legend of Faust. Now, Faust was a very successful man, but he was dissatisfied with his life. And this leads him to make a pact with the devil. And he exchanges his soul for unlimited knowledge and worldly pleasures. Now, can you think of other situations where someone made a pact with the devil? probably you should think of Paganini. Can you think of the legend of Faust as represented in music? Well, Arrigo Boito wrote an opera, as did Charles Gounod, but perhaps the most famous opera is The Damnation of Faust by Hector Berlioz. And there are also many symphonic examples, Liszt, Wagner, Schumann, Stravinsky in Histoire du Soldat. Mahler also quotes the Faustian legend. Even if you want a contemporary example, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. That's based on the legend of Faust. So let me ask you, would you make a pact with the devil?